Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the Mega Construx Masters of the Universe San Diego Comic-Con 2019 exclusive Battle Bones. And I have to give a huge shout out and thank you to Mattel and Mega Construx for sending this to me. They saw my Castle Grayskull Mega Construx review and they loved it. So they reached out to me and said, hey, would you be interested in Battle Bones? I said, are you kidding me? Of course I'd be interested. This thing looks amazing. So huge shout out and thank you to them. I can't say that enough. Thank you, Mattel and Mega Construx, for sending this to me. I really do appreciate it. This thing looks amazing. Ever since it was announced, I was super excited for it. Didn't know how I was going to track one down, but obviously Battle Bones was a toy from the original lineup. So I think it's fantastic that they're recreating it in Mega Construx form. Looks great. You have 4 figures here on the side. You have kind of a half Robotic Faker, which looks amazing. You have a Moss Man, and he's actually flocked. They have a little cutout in the packaging here, so you can actually feel that he's flocked. It's so good. And then you have a Man-At-Arms and Tyla down here. Tyla has the serpent headdress, but has the normal coloring as opposed to the warrior goddess that came with Castle Grayskull. So again, it is another Tyla, but it is different. So you get the kind of normal headdress for Tyla. So I think that's fantastic. And then here you have a Man-At-Arms that's kind of more like the animation coloring, but doesn't have the mustache. So he's not really like the Filmation. This is kind of more like the original toy Man-At-Arms. So far we've had the kind of Filmation Man-At-Arms, the mini comic Man-At-Arms, and now we have kind of the original toy Man-At-Arms. So I love when they include same characters, they're variants, so you're not just getting the exact same toy again. I love that. I love having different versions of these characters because they did kind of have different representations, so I think that's absolutely fantastic. But the packaging is absolutely beautiful. Beautiful picture of the characters up top. Shows off Battle Bones on the top, 16 inches in length from head to tail. That's fantastic. Not too much going on there on the bottom. On this side, you have something that looks like the original packaging with Moss Man there. Excellent. And then on this side, you have that Robotic Faker. You can see he's got kind of cyborg parts interspersed. So I'm blown away. This so far, look at all the accessories that you get. 20 accessories. That's fantastic. And of course, you can store them in the mouth as just like the original toy. And it says that there's an air freshener included that looks like Moss Man's head. That's just... It's random, but I love it. I don't know why they tossed that in, but I'm not going to complain. So again, packaging, I'm blown away. It's very evocative of the original packaging, which I absolutely love. I was always a huge fan of the Masters of the Universe packaging from the original 80s toy line because it was always such beautiful painted pictures on most of the vehicles and things like that. Just the style overall of the packaging is I've always been a fan of. And this definitely is reminiscent of that, so I really think that's fantastic. But I'm going to go ahead, take this thing out of the box, put it all together, and we'll take a closer look. So first up, let's take a look at these amazing figures. I'll take a look at Tyla first. Go ahead and remove her from the little base that she comes with. I've always been impressed with the level of articulation and detailing paint applications on these figures. Always looks spectacular. She does come with the serpent staff, just like the Mega Construx Heroes line, but it's considerably longer here. And then she does have this serpent headdress, which is a bit of a softer plastic. You can kind of just take it off, and you can see she's got a little bit darker hair than the Mega Construx Hero release as well. But this is just a little bit of a softer plastic. You can pop it back on, kind of put it under the chin first, and then pop it back onto the head. So not too difficult there. But head's on a ball joint, so that can move all around. Shoulders have a swivel as well as a hinge, as you can see. Kind of the same joint that's in the shoulder is in the elbow. So you have movement there as well as a spin side to side. You have wrist swivel, you have waist swivel, ball joint in the hip, and then 90 degrees in the knee. And the shield looks excellent. So real quick, I will bring in the Mega Construx Hero Tyla release. So you can see it's fairly similar. She's got gold bracers as opposed to kind of bronze looking ones, and she's got red boots as opposed to kind of brownish ones. And then this one has a little bit lighter hair. She's got a little bit darker hair. And then, like I said, the staff is a different size there. But otherwise, pretty cool. Liking that quite a bit. And then here is the warrior goddess that came with Castle Grayskull. As you can see, very, very different color scheme there. But they both have the serpent headdress there. So very, very cool. This figure looks fantastic. Go ahead and pop her back on her base right there. Next up we have Man-At-Arms. He's got all the same articulation. Really all the figures have the same level of articulation. But he looks good. And the one thing I always like about him is you can take his weapon and you can see how it has kind of like a little peg hole there. He's got 2 tabs on his back. So you can peg this into either of those tabs for weapon storage, which I think is a really nice touch. I like that quite a bit. And then to compare him, here is the Mega Construx Heroes Man-At-Arms. Like I said, he has the mustache like the Filmation cartoon, and his color scheme's a little bit darker. But overall, pretty much the same figure. And then here is the Man-At-Arms from the Castle Grayskull release, which is kind of a little bit more muted colors. Got kind of an olive green as opposed to the brighter vibrant green. But they both don't have the mustache. So I think that's pretty cool that, like I said, they've had 3 different versions of Man-At-Arms, but they're all very different. Color schemes are all quite different, and then one of them has the mustache like the cartoon, which is pretty cool. Next up, we have the Robotic Faker. I love this figure. This is so cool. He's got some silver paint on his face. He's got kind of a robot bicep over here. He's got a full robot arm over here, and then a robot calf. It kind of reminds me, Mega Construx also does a line, well, I shouldn't say a line, but they have some Terminator figures in the Mega Construx Hero line, which I think they're excellent as well. So it kind of reminds me of that. You can see he's got some robot parts painted there on the chest underneath the harness. And he just looks great. He's got all the same articulation with the exception of he doesn't have any wrist movement because that robot arm is all one solid piece. But that can still spin and move at the elbow. Actually, maybe it can't move at the elbow. No, I'm sorry. It's one solid piece. I thought it's molded to look like it has an elbow joint there. It can swivel from side to side. It just can't bend up and down. But that's all right. He comes with a pink sword, which looks great. He's got the pink harness. To compare him to the Mega Construx Hero Faker, you can see very, very different color scheme here. He's got primarily orange going on as opposed to pink. He does come with a sword as well, and an axe, also orange. The boots over here are darker purple, hair color's different. So these are definitely 2 very different figures. I love having both versions. I love the robotic parts. I think that's a really nice touch. But both of those are quite excellent. And then I saved the best for last, in my opinion. He's my favorite. The Moss Man, and he is flocked. You can feel him, he's fuzzy. He's got it on the head, on the chest, on the calves, on the biceps. From the elbow down and the knee down are not. They're just plastic, but he still looks great. I love his little accessory. He's got all the same articulation. I absolutely love this figure. The flocked Moss Man is such a beautiful touch. Just like the original toy. I'm so excited. This is easily my favorite out of the 4, and that's not putting the other 3 down at all. He's just so awesome that he easily beats the others. But I really do like the others as well. But I love the fact that he's flocked. That's just such a nice touch. So Moss Man, absolutely perfect. All 4 of these are really great. Like I said, just because I kind of have a personal connection. He was one of my favorites when I was a kid. So getting a flocked version of him, he just kind of wins it for me. But that's me personally. I love all 4 of these. I think they did a great job. Like I said, even though you're getting 2 characters, well, technically 3 characters that you already have some version of previously, they're all different. So I really don't mind having duplicates because they all have slight variations, which I think is really neat. All 4 of these figures are great. Real quick before we jump into Battle Bones, I wanted to show off the Moss Man air freshener. Basically how it works is you have these 2 pieces. You thread a string around. There's a peg that goes through. You thread that around, and then you just snap these together around the air freshener. So now you can go tie that to something. Hang it in your car, hang it somewhere in your house, whatever you prefer. I'm trying to determine what it smells like. It kind of just smells like soap. I guess maybe it's like a pine fresh kind of thing that they're going for. But to me, it just kind of smells like soap. It smells good. Not a problem, but like I said, super random that this was included, but it makes me laugh. Every time I look at it, it just makes me smile, so I'll have to go rock this in my car or something. But there is the Moss Man air freshener. Quite hilarious. Here he is, the main event, Battle Bones, and I have to say, he looks great. So reminiscent of the original toy. It was a really fun build, didn't take that long at all. I believe the box says it is 431 pieces. So it was a really fun, quick build, and he looks great. Obviously, his main attribute, his mouth can open, and you have all of these accessories. You have this long staff. You have this axe. And some of these kind of weapons I'm looking at right now remind me of some of the ones that came with the weapon rack from Castle Grayskull, but now in different colors. So you have a variety of, you know what, I'm just going to have to dump these out to make this a little bit easier here. So you have these variety of axes. You have some tiny guns. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer here. And I mean, like I said, these are so perfectly molded like the original toys. Like, I remember these guns. I definitely remember this gun. You have the short sword that came with Castle Grayskull back in the day. You have another tiny little gun. You have a couple of power swords. You have a really nice shiny gold one and a really bright blue one. I really love the color scheme on both of these. Then you have two axes. You have an axe to go with, I believe this is supposed to go with Faker, because the original one came with an axe as well. Then you have a blue axe. Very cool there as well. You have some shields to match the power swords. And then you have another super tiny little gun. And you can see these have notches too, so that could probably peg into Man-At-Arms back if we bring him back in. Peg that. Can that peg onto the back there? I believe it can. There you go. More weapon storage. I love it. But we're going to have to take both of these off so that we can show off Battlebone's second major attribute. So go ahead and get that out of the way. I'm going to just pile all these. And you can see that they all fit really well. I mean, he's got a pretty huge mouth there. So just go ahead. All of these accessories pile right in. Whoops. Unless I fling them across the review station. So you can see that this is fine, this is fine. The only one that doesn't quite fit is the super long one. So you just kind of put that in between some of his teeth or something and have him chomp down. But I mean, look at let's just take a minute to look at the skull. It looks so good. The detail, all the teeth are individually posable, as you can see. The teeth on the bottom are kind of fixed, but all of the top teeth are individually posable. I think they did a great job with the eye recess here for the skull. It's just really top notch. So that's really, really, really well done. I love the skull for Battlebones here. And there's so much storage in that mouth for all of those accessories that they give you. It looks so good. He's got 3 points of articulation along the spine here. So here's the first one. That's just a huge ball joint. Another one right here, another one here, and then on the tail, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can do all of this, move this around however you like. Really nice posability there. And then all 4 legs are pretty much the same. You have 1, 2, 3 ball joint connectors. You can actually move the individual toes. So there's a ton of articulation on this guy. He looks great. He's got the little handles, just like the original toy, and you can actually hold it by the handles. They're not coming off, so that's pretty well done. There's not a lot of weight here, which is good, so that makes the handles easy to carry by. So really, really well done. Now, the original toy had kind of U-loops, like U-shaped hooks, and you had to pop the figures in. Now, if you're like me, and your original toy is any like mine, I should say, sometimes those U's broke. You'd have one that break off just from putting figures in and out of it. And over time, plastic gets brittle, I understand. So they would break. But what they've done here is they have kind of a peg system. So you can see here, they just have little pegs. And these just go into the pegs on their backs. Very simple. You just line it up, peg it in. Now, Man-At-Arms, because he has those storage points, you can't peg it in all that much, but he still hangs out We'll bring in Mossman. I'm going to take the accessories out of their hands just because it makes it easier. So there you go. Line up the peg. Peg him right in. And they hold well. Not going anywhere. And that's super simple. It's so super simple to just peg them in and out. You don't have to worry about anything breaking. It's perfect. This time around, they did such a nice job engineering this. We'll bring Faker in. Peg him in here. There we go. Get this lined up. Peg him in. And then we have Tyla. I'll leave the staff, but I'll take the shield out just for simplicity here. And then we'll peg her in. And there you go. Your Battle Bones is fully equipped with the 4 figures. And you still have room for 4 more, so it can hold up to 8 total. And it's just really smart. Like I said, I think that peg system works so much better than trying to use loops. It's super simple to just pop them on and off, and then you can just go ahead, wiggle right off. Boop, there you go. You're ready to go. So I think this is a super fun set. I mean, it's a perfect homage to the original toy. It looks great. So many accessories. The mouth can hold a ton of accessories. Pretty much every accessory that you get with the set will fit in there. And the connection of the figures is very simple and easy, and he's got tons of articulation throughout the actual skeleton. It's really, really cool. So I really can't recommend this set enough. If you have a way to pick one up, if you're going to the show or have a friend is, or maybe you're just planning on buying one later on eBay or something, definitely try to get your hands on this set. It's fantastic. If you're like me and you're a huge fan of Mega Construx and Masters of the Universe, this is just another slam dunk. I'm really enjoying everything they're doing in this line so far. The Wind Raider was great. The castle was amazing. This set's super fun. I hope they just keep going. I know Mega Construx Heroes Wave 5 is going to have Stratos and Scareglow. I'm super excited to pick those up as well. And I just hope this just keeps continuing. Give me all of the characters. Give me all the vehicles. I would love a Snake Mountain. I've had a lot of people in the comments of my Castle Grayskull say, hey, I hope they do a Snake Mountain. I'm right there with you. I would absolutely grab a Snake Mountain Mega Construx set because I'm sure that would be absolutely fantastic. The castle was so amazing. I can't wait to see what they could do with a possible Snake Mountain. But getting back to this set, it's really fun. I think for me personally, the highlight is the Flocked Mossman, just because he's a favorite character of mine. So to see him get the Mega Construx treatment is so great. But all of the characters here are great. The Robotic Faker, the Tyla Man-At-Arms, all excellent figures. Battle Bones himself really looks good. Really looks like the original toy. Tons of accessories. All can be stored in the mouth. The skull looks great. So many points of articulation in the skeleton. Really did a great job with that as well. I'm trying to think if there's anything to point out negatively about the set. I mean, really nothing's coming to mind. I love the peg system to just peg into their backs. I think that's really smart, very easy to connect and disconnect. They actually even came with, I forgot to mention this, but the 3 large ball joint connections along the skeleton, the main skeleton, have like little rubber bumpers inside to really control, the ball joint so it doesn't get loose over time. So that's really nice. That padding in there will kind of keep those ball joints, nice and tight and able to pose all over the place. So that's a really nice touch as well. The Mossman air freshener, very random, but a fun inclusion nonetheless. I just think that's just a funny, goofy touch that just kind of makes me smile. So, yeah, I really can't think of anything to complain about. I mean, I guess I could ask for more figures. You could always ask for more figures, but the 4 that you get in this are great. I love them. I don't really have anything bad to say about this, guys. If you have the means to grab one, I definitely recommend it. And I hope Mega Construx just keeps going and keeps giving us more Masters of the Universe releases because I've loved every single one so far. Again, huge shout out to Mega Construx and Mattel for sending this to me. I can't tell you guys how much I appreciate it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. They did send this to me and it's just been so amazing. So thank you all so much. Hope you enjoyed the review. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Yeah, and here's to more Mega Construx Masters of the Universe releases. So fun. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.